These four combined make the most broken party with the new patch 8 subclasses. I made sure there's exactly 0 gear overlap between them, and this party will destroy honor mode like it's a walk in the park. Written guides are on my Patreon, starting with the first member, the Arcane Deadeye. Roll, Controller, and Rage Burst. The Arcane Deadeye is the build that I made using the new Arcane Archer subclass, which is extremely strong. Now you have to think of the Arcane Deadeye as an ultra crowd control carry. You can dictate the outcomes of large-scale battles with a single arrow. You have complete control over the battlefield with your kit. First of all, you have your arcane shots, which will have these magical effects in addition to their damage. Think of banishing big targets as soon as you hit level 3 to get insane momentum, to back-to-back blinding and absolutely annihilating enemies with your shadow arrows, which do in fact synergize with the resonance stone for double the damage, to grasping arrow, for example, to punish moving targets as much as you want, and in addition to all of that, also having a lot of AoE damaging options like bursting arrow and piercing arrow. In the case of piercing arrow, we can use it to apply mass frightening tanks to the Arcane Deadeye's bow choice. Yes, piercing arrow can take on crowd control modifiers from bows like Bow of the Banshee and apply them to entire groups, but as the Arcane Deadeye, we also use various bows best suited for different periods in the game. Aside from crowd control, you are an archer here, so you have a lot of reach and distance, making you able to hit everything from anywhere really, but also your damage is very good here, hence why this is also an excellent ranged striker build. The Arcane Deadeye isn't just a level 12 Arcane Archer build, however. No, it is in my opinion the strongest rendition of how you can possibly build an Arcane Archer in this game. See, we already get triple attacks innately at level 11 Arcane Archer, with action surge that then becomes 6 since an Arcane Archer is a fighter. Yes, shocking right, but we multi-class a bit, get a dip of cleric in there to make things even more OP, get a bunch of extra utility and a nice selection of spells, but most importantly get even more attacks utilizing the cleric's war domain and its war priest charges. We then also itemize and gear this deadly archer in a way that makes him or her very hard to kill or get rid of, while also enhancing your damage and crowd controlling capabilities even more. And I also made an entire tier list in that video to illustrate which arcane shots you absolutely want to use, how to prio them as you have limited slots early on, for example, specific niche use cases and tricks of said arcane shots are in there as well, and which ones you definitely want to avoid. So check out the original video for the full details of this build, which can be found in the link in the description. The absolute devastation that awaits your enemies with the first build in today's party is only a glimpse of what's to come. These four ultra powerful characters can just do it all. In the future, they will be described as the heroes of history. Wait, that's also the name of today's sponsor. Thanks to Heroes of History for sponsoring this video. What is that though? Well, it's a fun browser and mobile game, essentially a city building, hero collecting, action-packed adventure game. What I personally like here is the unique combination of the relaxing city building aspects of the game in tandem with the action-packed combat and hero collecting, where your heroes have all the juicy good stuff like ultimates and where you can make team compositions with certain strategies in mind. The way you build your city is also important, as you can expand, but you also have fixed tiles till you can do so. So you have to be efficient to get good production going and probably try to build symmetric in some capacity, unlike me. You can unlock a lot of cool heroes too, real historical figures by the way, through Einstein's Portal, which is a cool unique twist to the game as it incorporates a time travel storyline very significantly. Right away as well, Einstein guides you, literally from the start. There's also just a very cozy feel to this game that I like. It is kind of hard to describe, but I think it's a mix between the visuals, art style and gameplay loop. Do you think you can build a solid strategy and city? Well, prove it. Use my link in the description or scan the QR code as shown on screen. I have good news. If you use the Start Now promo code, then you get a boost to unlock your first 5-star hero, and those exist out of the cool ass historical figures. Moving on with the next build then, the Hexwing Phantom. Roll, reconnaissance and melee striker, and also a controller really. The Hexwing Phantom is the master of tricks and its fighting style almost resembles a performance, as he takes care of his enemies in a very artistic way, let's say. But under the facade of elegance lingers something more sinister. See, making pacts with the devil never truly works out. This is a multi-class build revolving around the new Swashbuckler, Hexblade and Swarmkeeper subclasses, a 4-5-3 split in that order, leading into insane mobility, which makes this an excellent scout, making sure you can always see what's coming in honor mode to eventually prepare if needed, but also in combat, as fancy fleet work is a blessing here and lets you escape without a scratch essentially. But this build comes online extremely early, as we spec into Swashbuckler first, giving us access to dirty tricks. With dirty tricks we can bully our enemies and make their lives miserable. Removing their weapon through flick of the wrist is insane momentum, and that combined with our Arcane Deadeye's early game crowd control means you will have a a blast even in those very first few levels. You can literally remove weapons from entire camps with the Hexwing Phantom, making you win battles where you are heavily outnumbered. But in case your enemies do not have weapons, your other dirty tricks will provide to be clutch as well and can provide the necessary utility. However, that is not all, as the Hexwing Phantom is a Warlock too, and 5 levels of it means we get level 3 spells, but also a bunch of other useful Warlock E spells. And the Hexblade in the Warlock means you get curses and can scale your weapon through charisma as well, which is especially nice because your flick of the wrist from Swashbuckler rolls off charisma too, meaning you'll have higher success rates with it. It's a nice synergy. Then Swarmkeeper makes sure the dishes we hand out will be served cold. See, this guy has been accompanied by a bunch of moths, and these moths give him extra abilities, like teleporting after your actions, giving you even more reach, but also psychic damage, which again will scale with the Resonance Stone, and this is damage that will shoot off from a distance. While this is mostly a melee striker build that can also tank as a frontliner due to mitigating incoming damage, the Hexwing Phantom uses weapons that gives him extra reach and distance and also special abilities. But with the moths and your Warlock kit, you have the possibilities to strike from a distance too, making it a very versatile build. It has everything: CC, damage, utility and mobility, and we play on those themes as well with our gear choices, making this an excellent second entry in the party. Link in the description for all the details that you need to know. Then we move on to Mr. Big Shot himself, the Godblade, with ties to divinity itself. In fact, Roll can do everything. Yes, the Godblade is the chosen one, the evolution of a Blade Singer and a Paladin multi-class mix essentially. This build saturates our need for wizardry spells and utility, and is also a very tanky frontliner, and not tanky in the traditional sense, but through magic essentially. You have huge nukes for your spells, huge crowd control, but we also utilize the Shadowblade here, which comes available from level 3 onwards. So another build like the first two in this party that is OP all game long. And again, we use this build with the Resonance Stone. The Shadowblade is of the psychic damage type and thus gets boosted with the Resonance Stone, which is the Godblade's main weapon, leading into absolute nuclear damage. And you can accordingly also make a compilation of pretty much any boss that gets blasted to 0 HP in a single turn with this build if you want. As you see, every party member makes good use of our Resonance Stone here. The Hexwing Phantom and the Arcane Deadeye also had various interactions with it. As I mentioned, the Godblade is the perfect candidate to hold the Resonance Stone, as he's a Blade Singer, and thus will get extra mobility innately, and being a wizard also gives you a lot of utility anyways, including having access to a huge number of spells that you can scribe. Then we haven't even talked about the Godblade's exclusive abilities, like invoking the Blade Song, giving you the possibility to heal your entire party from near death to full HP in one go, while also hurting your enemies, making it an excellent insurance for any honor mode encounter gone south, as you can very easily turn around the tables with this ability. As the Godblade has a bit of Oath of the Crown Paladin in him as well, he can also utilize the Divine Smites, which makes your damage go absolutely insane here and gives you some nice additional utility to your blade singing abilities. Gear and itemization is then accordingly made to fulfill the Blade Song's requirements and give you the most power possible, not just in terms of damage, but also including arcane acuity stacking, giving us the possibility to always reliably inflict CC, and for example also giving us the ability to inflict some very powerful spells with a mere bonus action, even though they require a normal action usually. So you can combine powerful spells in combination with absolutely going ham in terms of your burst damage with your regular actions, and all of that in one turn. And we also get a lot of actions innately, by the way, through haste and the Blade Singer's extra attack. And how all of that works, well, just watch the video and you'll know everything you could possibly want to know about this build. Finishing off our party then with our fourth member, our Necro Lord, the Deathreaper. Roll, Spellcaster, Blaster, a fan favorite build of mine which brings home the feeling and vibes of a necro based character and build in the game that has an answer to anything. We utilize the new Death Cleric subclass here, but we do so in a multi-class fashion to get the most out of this build and its idea. 8 levels of Death Cleric, 2 levels of Necromancy Wizard and 2 levels of Spores Druid. It is a Spellcaster necro build where we do insane damage with all the various powers tied to necro based damage and the Death Cleric subclass specific abilities like its Touch of Death. We also then utilize the Death Domain's unique ability Reaper to get online very early and be able to dish out damage to 2 targets at the same time, making good use of the 3 various necromancy based cantrips based on what type of enemy we're facing. And this build then transitions very well into powerful necro spells as we progress. We're talking AoE damage, single target nuke damage, but also a lot of crowd control in any shape that you want really, as we have access to a wide roster of spells, being a combination of 3 different spellcasting classes. And then as you keep progressing, the Deathreaper's powers transcends to what mere mortals can comprehend, with level 6 spells cast, for free, back to back as well. And your inflict wound spell in combination with your touch of death will be able to make you one-shot enemies like it's nothing. You have both the melee-based necromancy damage as well as the ranged necromancy spell damage in this kit. And also, yes, we can summon the undead to fight for us too if you want to add that to the mix for the summoner playstyle enjoyers, but it's a very flexible build that you can use in many different ways. And I didn't even mention the staples yet, like Spirit Guardians for example. It has all the insane spells that we also know about as well. With the wizard spec we then also add a very nice healing aspect to this build, where you can essentially start a machine where we just heal off killing our enemies, giving us huge sustain. And with Spore's Root we get even more damage instances as well as utility. The Deathreaper is a very fun, all game long powerful and interesting build that I cooked, and you can only get the full grasp of what it really can do and when it can do what if you watch the full video. So again, link in the description, and the video goes over a lot of secret type of tricks as well, like at 35 minutes and 20 seconds, where it for example shows you how to make our double target cantrips become full-fledged AoE damage. And that's the party then fully covered. Like I said, honor mode is guaranteed to be destroyed with this party, as you have everything and they synergize very nicely with each other, and you'll have zero problems using this party as there's no gear overlap and no problematic anti-synergies whatsoever. If you want written guides, check out my Patreon, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts.